Spillage is concerned. These are some of the stories that has not been told properly. I've been on the boat from the nearby community. We had about 20 minutes journey all the way from Achikokwe and Akokokwe, and we are finally here where these pregnant women were traveling to have access to health care. This woman here has been vomiting whilst we're on our way to this premises, and we are still in the water, as you can rightly see. Half of the area here, all the houses are submerged. They are all in the water. I will need to, have to assist them to be able to get out. Yeah, so that's how bad the situation is here. We've been through a journey, a hectic one for that matter. When the journey began, these women were all alone at the banks of the river trying to paddle the canoe by themselves to a nearby community.
Some more of our colleague Godwin Asidibe's adventures as he tours some of the flooded communities in the Volta region. Very worrying accounts there as he reports on how pregnant women have to travel to nearby communities for healthcare due to the floods. Let's reconnect now with Johnny as he speaks to residents who've been displaced, those who've lost businesses, whose buildings have collapsed, and so on and so forth. Johnny, good to have you back on the line.
Good to be back. And I have Toby Vifa here. His home was collapsed. I don't speak ever fluently and lucidly, so Commander will help us to understand. For Nkode Vifa, okay. And ask the question for me. His home was collapsed, right, due to the spillage. Ask him for me, please. Just back. Where does he live? He lives in Abadwekoma. Abadwek, where we're going now? Okay. So he's been evacuated to Togbi's place. So he's going there. From time to time, they go to that place. Because, definitely you have some sentimental, like ancestral home. Exactly. You have sentimental attachment to your place. That's why it's difficult to be evacuated. Same for me. How did his home collapse? Okay, he said when the place got inundated by the spillage by the VRA, as a result, his house collapsed. His house collapsed, yeah. And how is he coping? Ask him. He's saying that it's becoming overwhelming for him, so a distressing situation for him, so uncomforting, struggling to put body and soul together because even his livelihood has been washed away. That is his farm. Does he have any children? Ask him. How many? 1 minute. Okay, he says he's got 16 children. 16? Yes. Oh, and they have all not have any place to live? Gaulo. He says that as a result of the inundation or the collapse of the house, they are all coping with other family members. What does he eat now? Oh, and I know of my name is here. You can me and a phone number. He says that they have now gotten something to eat. Some people have provided them food through the benevolence of Togwis faculty. He's been so magnanimous to get them food to eat. Right. So they are living on that now. He's going blind. I can tell. It's visible. Is he taking care of it? What's happening? What's next plan? It's just because of his financial predicament. He's just counting on the grace of God that maybe his eyes will heal. But they're starting on him to get this thing treated medically. Where are we now? We are in the middle of a wide water space. Where are we now? We are on the River Volta now. River Volta. This is the usual level. No, it's risen now. It has risen now as a result of the spillage by the VRA. So we should not fear. Don't fear. Don't fear because your answer is weak. It is weak because what is happening today is in the hands of some group of people who are reckless. Otherwise, I would have just said to you, youth, don't fear. Don't fear. But this time around, because it's some reckless human beings behind this village, that is why one is hard put to just speak confidently to you that, please, don't fear. Because my heart is in my mouth. I can see your heart is in your mouth. Your countenance, your demeanor, everything is showing that your heart indeed is in your mouth. Because this is not something you are accustomed to. It may be your very first time seeing this. Because the water has risen to a level where it has caused havoc. It has wreaked havoc on human beings, on their livelihoods. Ask our friend here, before, ask him how he feels about this situation. So we tell him, I'm also becoming emotional now. What he's saying, he says that he's having some vision problem, vision impairment now, so he doesn't have the strength that he used to have to get that building in shape. And because of that, his two children are on boat. They are on board now. This very canoe. So they are here with us. They are here with us. So he says he's one of the saddest souls on this boat. He's the saddest soul on this boat. So he's just counting on his creator to get him some comfort. Helen, that's the situation here. I don't know where I am, honestly, and I can only see water around me.
Sure.
I can, and the stories are too emotional. It gets you near tears.
I can feel it, Johnny. I can feel it.
And these are the realities of the people. And you listen to officialdom and the kind of commentary that they make, and you ask yourself, is there really fellow feeling? Are they feeling what the people feel, or are they just doing PR gimmicks? Question.
Johnny, I want to ask about food this morning. Have you yourself and the team been able to source some food? What is it looking like across the board?
So the lady was supposed to come and do a breakfast for us. We slept at the Ronnie Lodge, Rhoda Lodge. And the lady, her home literally is in such a way. So it took forever for her to come, but we had to move. We moved. So she has promised that we will get lunch instead, not breakfast. So we haven't eaten breakfast. We haven't not eaten breakfast. We're just running on empty stomachs.
So far, the formation is zero.
And just trying to do what we have to do. I'm on the water, and I can tell you it's no joke. I know the Volta Lake.
And we can see some videos here. If you're watching us on Facebook, you see Johnny in action there, suited and booted. It's not looking great. Head over to our Facebook, and you can see the live pictures and videos.
Right. I think I will come back to you. Now we're getting to the deepest part of the water.
Sure. Stay safe, Johnny. We'll come back to you, please.
I want to hold my legs together.
All right, Johnny. Please stay safe and come back to us. Let's switch gears now and come back in studio. We're still talking about the disaster of the Akosombo Dam spillage. And I've got my colleague here in studio, Joseph Armstrong Gold Alogbe. He was in Mepe. And any other areas?
Yeah, almost all the affected areas,
all the affected
including
areas.
The island communities in Adan East.
Well, good to see you. Good morning to you, Armstrong.
Yeah, good morning, Ellen.
You were eyes and ears on the ground along with our other colleagues. Tell us about, what it was like getting into the area, what you saw, and as you left, any changes, any improvements? What is the situation on the ground? Because we're told now it's still quite dire, and you were there just a few days past. Paint a picture for us, please.
Ellen, I returned from Mepe yesterday. I got here yesterday afternoon. I first went there last week Wednesday, so it's exactly a week now since I went there, and I only returned yesterday. The situation as it stands right now looks more terrible because yesterday before I left there, the water, the flood waters I cruised on back to inland was changing color. From the beginning, the water was very clean. You could see it was clean, even though muddy. But as at yesterday, you could see the color has changed to black, meaning there could be a lot of infections in there. Looking at the color of the water now, because it's a stagnant water now. Most of the water is now stagnant in the homes of people, and it's beginning to change.
That means it's not flowing or moving anywhere.
It's not flowing or moving anywhere. It's just staying at one place, so which is why I'm sure the color of the water has changed. And I spoke with some health experts around, or some health officers who were moving with me. I asked, why has the water changed color so fast, so sudden? And then they were like, yes, that should tell you that there are a lot of impurities, there are a lot of bacteria in the water. And funny enough, yesterday, someone called me to rush back to a place in Sugankope, Kumboni area. And the reason is that they are now beginning to see pythons. Yes, moving around. Pythons are beginning to attack them in their homes because, the flood waters.
This is worrying. Pythons
That's
now
pythons. They said they killed
water.
one. They killed one. They shared a picture with me yesterday, and there was another one which is quite big that they says they are trying to get hold of. But it's so big that they're unable to.
Armstrong, we'll get those pictures also from you so that we can all see them on Facebook. Sure.
So as it stands right now, the situation is still terrible. The water level keep rising and keep moving to other communities that, as at Sunday, they were not affected. But now I was also told that the nursing bungalow at Bato Hospital has also been affected. The nurses are beginning to pack their belongings to leave town because they said, no, we are not from this area. we came from somewhere.
We'll return to that somewhere.
We are going back to that somewhere, and we cannot be here. So one of the nurses told me that they want to be given, they want to be allowed to move from the place entirely so that they return when the water recedes, because they don't feel safe here any longer. So that's the situation on the ground, Ellen. It's like I've seen flooding at many places. For instance, like at Tetegu.
That's right.
Some 2 years ago. What I saw at Tetegu 2 years ago and other years, that's what we are talking about at the Volta region, precisely Mepe area, and then also now the residents living on the Adan Island communities. That is even much more terrible because they are in the middle of the Volta Lake itself, just on a small island, and the water is beginning to just squeeze them in between. And for a 73-year-old man who started crying, he said, look, now I want to go. That should tell you that now the thing is terrible, because this is a man that no amount of persuasion will make him move from that island, because he is the Lord of Lords on that island. So for him to tell you that, look, I want to go.
Enough
even
enough.
now. If I get rescued, now, I'm moving out with my kids. That should tell you that the situation is not as simple and easy as some people want to be like, we've been seeing flood. What is it? Is it the only time and first time you're experiencing flood in Ghana? People are saying this because they've not gone to witness what is really happening at that place.
Talk much of python-infested waters. What about the stench? As is being reported in the newspapers, that it's taking over the whole area. You can smell the destruction.
Oh, Ellen, this matter. When I go there, there was a school I went to. I was concerned about the books. I'm told all the books of the students, the pupils have all been submerged in the water. So I went in there. So I was just walking around. There was no boots. There was no boat. I thought I could just walk around. And then some mom just told me, hey, watch. The KVIP just opened. the cover on the cabbages open. Then as you watch, it's moving towards my direction. Jesus Christ, I don't know how I managed to swim. I don't know how to swim. But for the first time, I saw myself swimming just to move away from that. Oh my God, it looks so terrible.
And you can see the waste material just floating.
This is a public KVIP. This public, oh my God, that should tell you the amount of liquid waste we have in there. Fecal matter we have in there. It was terrible. And I was like, oh my God, did I just do this to myself? Look, when I go back home that evening, there was a hotel I was sleeping in. Look, I asked them to get me hot water. Okay, and I went to buy Dettol. And then I just put my feet, everything. I put my feet in the water for like 1 hour. I was like, oh my God, I couldn't eat that whole night. Wow. I was so upset with myself. But of course, we are working for God and country. You cannot complain.
Indeed.
You can't complain that much. The issue in there, and also with the cemeteries also being submerged, and most of these cemeteries are places people use as their place of convenience too. And that should tell you. There was another issue of a crocodile pond that we are told about 3 crocodiles were in there. They were able to rescue only 1. The rest, they don't know where they've gone to, meaning they are also the water swimming. And then one other experience I had was a snake swimming. That was my first time seeing a snake swimming on top of the water. When the soldiers came and they were taking me to the other side, where we call Mepe Market, they said I should go and see the extent of damage over there. The market has been swimming. You know, you can't even tell this a market because that place was very high. The water levels there was very high. And when we got there, we saw this snake just swimming like, oh my God. I almost jumped out from the canoe, but where are we going to? You want to jump out from the canoe and go and meet the snake? But I was scared. When I saw, hey, the soldier was like, young man, relax, take your time. Many of these, if you jump right now, you meet many of them under the water.
Under the water, then, I mean, a python, you say, has even been killed. So I
just got this news yesterday that the man called me. And funny enough, he asked my name. He says, my name is Samson Alogwe. I said, Samson Alogwe, I don't know, I don't have any brother by name Samson. He said, no, I know, I've been watching you. And I know you came to Komboni here. I just want to give you this information. Python is beginning to, if the NADMO people and the other Navy guys can help us, the people from the Wildlife Division can come and help us get one particular python that is being stubborn. They are unable to kill it. They don't want to kill it because they said that python to more or less, I don't know how they describe it, spirit or something. So they are scared to even kill that python. And then I'm like, oh my God. So Ellen, the situation in there, you need to go and experience it yourself. Probably tomorrow you can go along and then maybe we'll just give you some life jackets and
Talk of life jacket. What was the situation? You were there for a while. Did you see an improvement in the numbers of relief items, life jackets, support for the residents?
The life jacket is done for the affected victims. The life jacket that we have in there, that they bring in, is just for government officials that come in there. The life jacket is just for big men, so-called, they say. If you're a journalist, nobody even care about giving you a life jacket. The life jacket is just for NADMO officials that are coming in, the government officials like the interministerial community that came there 2 days ago, and the MPs that come in there. But you never see any affected victim. I'm saying this on authority. I was there for almost a week. Nobody gave me life jackets to wear. The only time I had a life jacket to wear was when I went to Adan on Saturday. And that one, we are going to move on the Volta River itself. To the estuaries, and the Navy guys there happens to be very good friends, and they have about 10 life jackets in their Navy boats. Yeah, so they insisted we wear it. But any other affected person doesn't have access to life jacket. Anybody can quote me anywhere. There's no life jackets for the affected victims, and maybe if they are listening to us, but can they even provide life jackets for the over 25,000? Affected victims we are referring to? They can't. It's not possible. Maybe they can just prioritize and give it to maybe pregnant women and maybe kids who cannot swim.
We've seen and also listened to Godwin Asideba, and he was with some pregnant women who had to cross water bodies to get some medical assistance, and this is life jacket free, no life jacket.
Yes,
they're on their own.
Yes. So with the issue of the pregnant women, for instance, I know many of them fled the community because in your situation, you cannot live around this.
That's right.
First of all, there's no clean water to drink. And if you are in this condition, you cannot risk yourself and the child that you are carrying in there. So many of them, I tried getting most of these people, the pregnant women, for instance, I'm told many of them fled to their family members in other communities that have not been affected yet. So the situation in there, you could see that is that terrible that as for the life jackets, I can tell you, Ellen, that I don't know the amount of life jacket that can help or assist any of these people. The numbers are so huge that you cannot provide all these people with life jacket. Maybe you can just prioritize.
I'm looking at, I mean, when things like this happen, these are issues that may not come up strongly, but I think the people also have some cultural, attachment to the area. The chief's palace, how is the place, and the gods, those kind of waters. I mean, these are things that, may not be.
These are interesting, yeah.
For us, for those of us who are interested in the culture of the people, who are interested in the traditions of the people, what's the situation of the chief's palace, his regalia, or if you have some shrines there, are the gods also washed away? These are things that may not come up readily for discussion because of the food and survival issues. But these are things that.
Boss William, I mean,
did you look at those?
Talk of shrines. I mean, there are videos where we're going to a place in Sokpe. That is in the South Thong or so. We were cruising on the floodwaters to some of the typical villages, and that's. I saw many shrines that were submerged. You could only see just the head of the how do you call them? The gods. You could see them with their snaps and the bones hanging on trees.
So all washed away.
Oh my God! And when I got there, I saw one man who was just trying to protect, was collecting some of the idols that they have, was trying to relocate them. And he was trying, but the water was coming in very fast. And I asked the question, boss, what's happening? The shrines are not moving. The shrines are not moving. What's happening? He said, yeah, they cannot move. You have to protect them. But we are running away from we are running for our lives. So first of all, I need to stay alive to come back and protect my idols. I said, okay, but there's food there. You are hungry. Can you eat that food? He said, no, that food is for the gods to eat. We can't feed. Before already fed the gods with that food. We cannot feed other gods. And then also, the residents of the traditional authorities, of course, they were not spared either. All those places, the big mansions for the traditional authorities were all submerged. The churches, everything was gone. There was no fear of favor for either the church or the shrines or the idols that we have in that community. Schools have been affected. Hospitals have been affected. Big hotels along the Volta River have all been affected. Just I can't mention names. Some of them says, hey, don't put my pictures on TV. So you cannot mention some of these things because it says it is our life. Leave it for us. Let's handle it. So you need to respect some of these. They said they are okay. We are okay. We won't focus on the mass community and leave us alone. But there were some very big hotels along the Volta River. Almost all of them that have been submerged in the spillage water, and it's not funny.
So how is the police handling inmates in police stations that were also flooded? Were they relocated?
That is a very interesting point you've raised. That never occurred to me. I should have.
Because I'm thinking about security.
Yes, security.
Are the cells open for them to walk, or they have been relocated?
That is an interesting conversation. If I have the chance to go back in there, I think it's something I would like to consider asking the police officers.
You mentioned a lot of towns. Mepe is quite big.
Mepe is a big town. That is the London of South. That is the London of North Tong.
I've been there. I mean,
it's a big, beautiful
I was
place.
there 2 years ago for the festival, and I'm thinking if we have police stations, Sogakope, Mepe, and those areas, what happens to the inmates
in the cells? Yes.
Are they okay? Are they secure? Because these are suspected criminals. Some of them are even, I'm sure, before court and stuff like that. So what is happening to them?
I've not really paid attention to that, but certainly you could see it's just logic that they are going to move some of these guys to nearby police cells for safety.
That means some overcrowding in other areas.
So these are issues we would have to visit again.
Get our men on the ground.
Because that's also a big case. I think I asked about military presence, Armstrong. I'm not too sure. What about military presence? We send out our military to do humanitarian missions, and they've been to Sierra Leone.
Oh, yeah. The soldiers came in the day the president came. That was 2 days ago.
2 days ago.
Yes, that's when I saw huge military presence. But some of them also came in on Saturday. Okay. But the numbers were just few.
So did we have conversations with the military to see whether they were going to stay there? Because I know the 48th Engineers Regiment will usually stay on the ground to help? Because that's basically what
I think the soldiers are doing a great job. The soldiers are really doing a great job. We just hope they stay there after everything so that they can ensure that we don't lose any life. As it stands right now, we've not heard of any life lost yet, even though there were rumors on Thursday that a snake bite a young man and was rushed to the hospital, but the young man lost his life.
But we explained
he was in the floodwaters and a snake bite him. This is a rumor from some of the residents.
Okay.
But some of these things we have to see with our eye. I asked them where was the young man rushed to which
the
hospital.
mango tree you see by
they keep telling me they are focusing on
that
other
was
things.
inside.
So later they think that they never took me there. But they were saying a snake bites one person, the person died.
Right.
And I couldn't get to where exactly the person was rushed to, and then maybe something we have to follow again to confirm if indeed somebody died, because now people are praising the VR and ADMO authorities that at least the best news for us so far is that not even a single life has been lost. So of course, who wants to stay in the flood water for?
But is this as a result of search and any search activity
But
that
we
has gone
explained to
on
me,
to,
so he said this mango tree,
to confirm?
it
Have there been
didn't
any
used to be there.
persons reported missing that are still outstanding?
How are you
The
able
water
to
was inside.
report or
So the
confirm that
mango
somebody
tree
is
you see by
missing when
Tommy,
people are just running to
that
all
was
directions?
inside.
People are just, for instance, I know a family that one moves to point A, other moves to point B. You want to believe and be hopeful that, I'm not seeing my other brother. Maybe he has gone to his other auntie in Accra or at Bato or at Segi. So maybe we have to wait when all is said and done and people are beginning to return to their normal life. You can tell whether somebody has gone missing or somebody is dead or not. But certainly we hope that we will not get that news that a life has been lost.
Mango tree.
Unfortunate incident that is taking place.
Was there any indication as to when these waters
water
would
was
be
inside.
receding? I'm hearing
So the
things
mango
like
tree
in
you
2
see by
weeks' time,
Tommy,
but we know there's further spillages.
that was
to come.
inside.
Not the VRO says they're going to spill to the end of this month.
To the end of the month.
And today is on the 18th.
That's right.
And so meaning we have about 2 weeks or so more to go, and that's they are just saying they are not even sure whether they are going to end the spillage on that day or not, because they say they are still getting more water from Burkina Faso and we still have more rains coming in.
That's right.
Meaning if the rains continue as been predicted by
Ghana Met.
Yes,
In fact,
it means
this
that
morning.
you are going to have more water coming from upstream down, and meaning the spillage will continue. And for VRA, and even talking to former President John Mahama and the president himself, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and other big experts, so-called, they keep saying that their priority now is to protect the Kosomo Dam, which should they make a mistake for that dam to collapse, the entire Greater Accra and greater portion of the Volta region will be washed away totally.
Right.
So
the concern is maintaining the integrity of the dam, because we're told if it bursts, the consequences will be 10 times higher than what we're seeing. We're told Tema could be, in fact, submerged as well.
Not just Tema. Not
In
just
fact,
Tema.
the
I'm
Greater Accra
told
region.
all those living along the coastal areas are going to be affected, because when it enters in Tema, the Kweshi, the Chemu Lagoon will carry it, and they all have links. They have tributaries that will just link into other lagoons, and it means that there's going to be a spillover, and all the communities living along the sea area are going to be affected. So, like former President Mahama, for instance, he commended the VRA for, at least, even though they delayed, it's better late than never. He commended them for at least spilling, knowing that it's going to create a lot of havoc down there. Because if that wasn't done, certainly they were going to have a bigger problem at hand. But he was cautioning, and he advised that going forward, before you do such spillages, you need to come and dredge the Volta River, because
And that has come up quite often. But gentlemen,
dredging or no dredging,
the situation.
That's not true.
That's what the VRA
Gentlemen, let me
does.
pause you there just very quickly, please. We have our producer, Sixtus Don Ulo, on the line. He's also touring the affected areas. Let's connect with him, find out where he is, what the situation is on the ground. Sixtus, good morning to you. Good to hear from you. Are you keeping safe?
We are keeping safe, Helen, and good to hear your voice as well.
Where are you now, Sixtus?
We have crossed so many
He
rivers.
will
I
come.
was beginning to wonder whether I'm still in Ghana.
So where?
So at the moment, I am at.
But we explained to me. So he said this
New-
mango tree
New Bapa.
It
New
didn't
Bapa.
used to be there.
Okay.
Yes,
No,
this is in the
it's
central
outside.
Song district.
The water was inside.
And
So the
Johnny and
mango tree
I
you see
are
by Togbi,
situated by some rivers.
that was inside.
And these are island communities that
Right,
we
right.
haven't really heard about in the news. You would recall that all the stories we have
Okay.
all the stories we have told have largely come from the community they call Mepe.
That's right.
Yes, but when we got into the region, we were told that there were actually places that have been worse than even the Mepe story that we have heard. And if what we saw from the Mepe area, there's a place worse than that, then you can imagine. So we
Goodness me.
decided to go to the other side that the story hasn't been told, and that is what brought us here. Coincidentally, when we got here, we also got the information that the vice president scheduled to visit the district this morning.
That's right.
And so we have tracked the advance team to a hotel, Sun City Hotel in Papa. And so we are here. The team has set up. They are waiting on the vice president, who they say should get in around 10:30, 11. In fact, they are still waiting on the information from Accra as to the exact timelines on this. But the other thing we have also picked up, Helen, is that the island communities have all been submerged, as Johnny told you in the earlier report.
That's right.
And so the chief had to move the people out of the island into the new Bapa area, also from people from the old Bapa area into the new Bapa area, and also all the other communities that Johnny is speaking to you from. We have people who have had to be moved from the island communities into those communities. In fact, told that the president was scheduled to visit one of those areas in his visit yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before yesterday?
I think the day before yesterday.
The day before yesterday. But unfortunately, he couldn't make the stop and went straight to the North Song area where he visited the Mepe people. But we are also told that the vice president will also be interacting with the people in this area to also understand what the plight is. And from what we can see, the setup is done in the hotel, Sun City Hotel.
I see.
We don't know what the plan is, whether they will see the inland, the community actually affected, or the people will meet him here. We still are not clear what the plan is, because there are really no authorities here for us to speak to on these matters. You know that on issues like this, there are designated spokespersons.
That's right.
And nobody wants to put the neck on the chopping board. If you have not been designated to speak, you cannot speak. And so we still cannot gauge clearly what the agenda for the vice president's visit is, whether he will be moved into the community to see the extent of the devastation. But what I can say, Helen, is that if the vice president is going to go into the community, he would have to cross two rivers to get to one of the islands that has been hardest hit. In fact, largely submerged. I'm sure Johnny has already painted that picture for you.
That's right.
And the people have been evacuated from there. So even if he goes there, he's just going to see the devastation, extent of the devastation, and probably begin to talk about reconstruction. Because at this point, that is the conversation we should be having. Relief for the victims and reconstruction of the communities. In fact, at the point where Johnny and I separated, we had met some of the community members moving back to the island communities using the boats that were available to go and try to salvage some of their belongings. And so, even though they have been evacuated, the people still have hope that they will be able to salvage one or two things to keep them going. At least something to cover the limbs and something to feed the mouth. So for now, that is what is happening. We are also told, Helen, that the NADMO coordinator, who we hope to very shortly, he's on his way to the location that the vice president is expected to be at. The chief executive, the Central Tongue chief executive, district chief executive, we are expecting him as well. We'll try to reach out to him and interact with him as well. But these are people who can tell us the extent of the devastation. That is why I'm a bit confused as to whether or not the actual interaction with the Vice President is going to happen in the hotel, the Sun City Hotel.
Okay. Six. What about your commute? So you're commuting by canoe to these various parts. Is that correct?
Yes. So at the point that Johnny and I separated, Johnny had to go on the canoe, and I had to come back. So I am a bit on dry land now. So
okay.
I had to come back to Sun City, and Sun City is located in the New Papa, about a 30-minute drive from Adidome, district capital of the Central Tom district. And so I am really not using the canoe for now.
Okay. How safe have you felt on the canoes?
I'm sorry.
How safe have you felt traveling on the canoe?
Helen, it's scary. First of all, we are talking about weight. In fact, the one of them had to go twice to be able to carry our team. Johnny, the cameraman, the team of local people showing us around, and all of that. It had to move twice, and there are no life jackets. You can imagine that we cannot even estimate the depth of the rivers as we speak now.
That's right.
But there are no life jackets. And I'm also saying to you that the community members have to go back to the island to try to salvage a few things. They are also using the same the same canoe. So it's not safe at all. And when you look at the canoe, you see that this is it's seen life, it's seen luggage, it's seen load. And so it's worn out.
So very soon we'll be questioning even the integrity of these canoes.
Not very soon. We already questioned the integrity of that. But of course, that's not a question you can put to the locals at this point.
Absolutely.
Because at this point, there's desperation all over their faces. All they hope for is that straw of life to hold on to. And so whatever will carry them on, they are willing to hang on to it. And
Absolutely.
So you can see that, you can feel it even in the conversations that with them. You can see that they don't mind, even if it's a straw that they have to hang on to be able to cross the two rivers and get back to salvage whatever they have to salvage. Because Helen, the longer it takes, the more the damage. You can imagine that.
Of course.
So that even if they could pick a few clothes here and there, if you wait the next 2 hours, by the time you get there, it's all soaked or it's drifted away by the waters, and so you wouldn't be able to pick that. So the
harrowing
integrity
indeed.
of the canoes, seriously, we have already questioned. It's not. We can't even wait another 1 hour to begin to question it. We have already questioned the integrity of the canoe. But hey, how else are they supposed to do this?
How
this
else
is the only
can they
way
do
out
this
for them?
Six is very grateful. We're connecting now with Johnny. So as I said to him before, do stay safe for us, and we'll reconnect with you as well. The waters, we're told by Armstrong, he's in studio with us here. Some waters infected with snakes and even pythons.
And Helen, let me mention this quickly. I don't know whether Johnny has already mentioned that about the children who had crossed.
That's right.
Barefooted. Yes. So in the midst of all this, there's the life has to go on, and so you see these kids crossing barefooted through some of the pots of water. The risk associated with that, we can't begin to talk about it, and so it's another area that we need to start looking at.
Sure thing, Sixtus. Thank you so much for giving us that update, and we'll be coming to yourself and to Johnny intermittently. So do hold tight for us. Let's cross over to Johnny now. Johnny, we're back to you. Where are you at the moment?
Ellen, I'm in tears, and I'm crying. I'm sad.
Johnny,
I'm very very sad. I'm crying.
Johnny,
I'm in tears. The cameras can capture it. I see people going through pain, and I can't bring myself to think about it that they have been ignored and abandoned for. I'm crying. I'm
Johnny.
literally crying. If you ask the cameraman, he will tell you. I'm crying. I see a man who's gone past 50 years home. Chief, what's your name? Good morning.
Morning.
Domestimon, please look here for me. And this is your home. Explain to me what's happening here.
Last week, we share for when no any no blood in your time, Yamo, Mulu, na Obo, Young Group, she told you.
It will come.
And before they realized, the water just came around and just left their things, their farm.
What has been destroyed?
Their farm, their food items, their houses are all collapsed. The mama of you. Cassava do, their maize farm, the cassava itself.
I see that their backyard garden has also been washed away.
Yeah.
And all happened when the spillage happened.
And the spillage happened. That is when it happened.
So how is he surviving? Ask him.
Alekele du ponjo. Sula mi na nola. Ogbe sakiti. Opada ruma. Okopele muma. Eva di movi. Ova lo. Nyofio kova dale zurutoji alavanyo eta mi va nogama abe ujaga gbono meji pon wada na yiye wada ruma tagbamo na yere gbango.
And I can't continue with the conversation. I'm teary.
Johnny.
I'm really teary. I'm crying. I have reported on disasters and the chief, everybody's watching me. I'm pouring. I can't continue with this conversation. I'm sorry.
Johnny, gather yourself and we'll come back to you, please. And stay safe. Thank you. We're grateful. Johnny Hughes still in the area. He's gone from Mepe to other neighboring areas, towns. And the emotion is palpable. Armstrong, what is the state of your emotional well-being? You were there for a couple of days, a week, wasn't it? From seeing pregnant women, students, people who've lost businesses, their homes. No idea when this is going to end.
Ellen, I mean, at a point, there was a lady I came across I wanted to do a story with. She has a provision shop. She sells bag of rice, oil, other provision stuffs that you can think of. And Ellen, when I got there, I wanted to engage this lady for a conversation. She has two divers. They dive into the water, they go under it, and they try to salvage some of the products she sells, like the plastics. They are still intact. So the guys go down under the water and they bring the in. And she's like, "Is that all you got?" That's what she asks the divers. Because now these are divers that are going to charge you so much money. First of all, the lady has lost everything she has labored for all these years. And I'm told she owns one of the biggest supermarkets in Mepe. And she came with a canoe to get some of the items under the water. And all they could bring is a bucket or something that cannot damage. And I asked her, "How do you feel?" The first thing the lady did was to cry. She just cried profusely. I couldn't continue with the interview. Myself, I shed tears too. And
Armstrong, you were crying as well.
People think I'm not human. I have emotions too.
So you understand how Johnny is feeling this morning?
I know Johnny will cry more than me. Johnny is going to cry more than me. You know why? Because I have seen a lot of terrible things
This is a very high line.
almost every day on my field of work. I've seen terrible things. So many bad things happening to people. I've been to, during the COVID era, I was in the ICU. I saw people dying right in front of me. I've seen a pregnant woman going to labor and passing because of somebody's negligence. I've seen things with my eyes. So what Johnny is seeing, maybe he doesn't do it very often. So I know he's going to cry more than me. But the situation in there, if you don't cry at a point in time, that means that you don't come from this part of the world. It's so terrible that if you are in there and you have emotions and you have conscience, definitely at a point in time, you are going to share some tears. And Johnny Hughes, we just have to ask him to be strong so that he'll be able to do the work. If not, he will end up being like those who have been affected. He cannot do any job. But we have to be strong to tell the story the way it is. And I remember one of the days I I was in there. One of the guys I wanted to talk to almost beat me up. His reason was very simple. We don't need any media people here. We don't need any media team here. What we want now is food. What we want now is rescue mission. We want to be evacuated from this place. You, the media, what can you do for us? You are just coming to use us for your money. And I can understand the guy's emotions, the way and manner he was reacting towards me. And others wanted to attack him. And I told them, look, relax for the young man. I can tell he has lost so much properties in there. So I understand his sentiments. Then I later took my time to educate him. On the day the president came, he was the one actually protecting me now, the same guy. After he realized that the presence of the media in there could bring the presence of the media could bring a lot of relief items to bring all the people who could, like 3 foundation now that we have trying to raise some funds and donations. Without the help of the media, we cannot know how or the extent of damage has been caused in Mepe, Sokpe, and now the island communities in Adan. So later when the guy realized that, oh, okay, so the media, this is your role. This is the job you do. So if not for you, the people outside wouldn't have known how we are suffering. When the president came, he was the one protecting because there were so many people trying to move along with the president. We thought the president was going to cruise on the floodwater. So we were all rushing to grab a canoe so we can all get a shot of him. Unfortunately, the president couldn't risk his life. So he stood at a distance and spoke with the people. And then the guy brought me back again to the shore. And then that was it. So the situation in there, if you do not shed tears at a point in time, that means you are very hard.
Well, time check. It is some 20 minutes past the hour of 9. It's a very heavy morning today as we talk about what's going on following the Akosombo Dam spillages, where in the Volta region, Johnny Hughes, my producer, Sixtus, and the rest of the team bringing us harrowing accounts of what's going on this morning. Let's take a 10-second breather.
Sunrise.
Sunrise on 3FM.
Pupils just closed from school. I have been told by those on the boat that on a regular dry day, this should be a farmland where these pupils will have to walk freely to the next community where they live. But you can see that at the moment they are seated on a boat, and they do this in the morning when they are about to go to school and in the evening when they close as well. These kids are not on a life jacket, together with the other ones that you find behind me. These are also residents who live here. None of them have life jackets here. The impact of the dam spillage is affecting them heavily here in the Volta region. This is what they have been doing since the spillage began. Most of them have expressed some sort of fear regarding the level of the water because it keeps rising every minute. At the moment when the boat rider was going, he tells me that the water was on a certain level. But at this time, he is complaining that the water has risen to a higher level, and it is sort of making it difficult for him, together with his other colleagues, to be able to paddle through this particular, stretch. Eric here went to school in the morning. He had to use this particular procedure. He has closed from school together with his other colleagues, and he is still using the same procedure to go back home.
I am afraid.
Why are you afraid?
But the water is here, and I am afraid.
Like you've rightly heard from him, he said he is afraid due to the level of the water here. What makes it really heartbreaking is that these pupils do not have life jackets that can be able to protect them in case this canoe capsized. And these are stories that we have heard over and over again from the Volta region. There have been stories of some relief items and life jackets that has been sent to some communities, but here in Dafigofo, most of the residents here are yet to have some sort of help. And Elizabeth here is also a teacher in one of the schools, and whenever she is going to the next town where her school is, she'll have to onboard this canoe and get to that community.
I don't feel comfortable when I am going to school, and then at a moment some of the students are in the house and all their parents are complaining that because of the water they don't know how to swim and we don't have life jackets. So when we put them in the boats and then they were not able to control themselves and then they fall in the water, they can die. So some of us, the teachers, we try as much as possible. We go to the school because Dover and Atitepo, the place was not flooded. So we manage the small classes that we have. But even as we are going, we are afraid that we can fall in the water and then something else will happen to us. Yes.
Have you gotten any sort of help since the whole situation began?
No, please. No hope.
There's no hope?
Yes, or no help for us. So we also go to the school and then the payment too is something. We try that the leaders should do the help for us so that when we are going as a student, we can pay 2 CDs or 1 CD, but they said no, because they are not using machine. They will take the 3 CDs or the 5 CDs from us. So that one too, we are struggling about it.
The level of the water keeps rising each day. Every minute you come and then the water is rising. Let's say it gets to a higher level. Will you still go to the classroom to teach the pupils?
No, please. we will not be able to go when it comes high. This one, we are even thinking about it. We don't supposed to go, but because it's a private school, the parents said they will continue to pay the school fees and things.
But what is making you risk your life for this job?
It is my hobby, so anytime I'm going, because that place was not flooded, I try to cross like that and go. And the two brothers, they are all my family members, so I try to help and then take them there. But the rest are all here, they are not going to school.
All right, that's Lisbeth right there, a teacher here in the community who assists these pupils go in and out of school through this boat. And I am sure that you watching
FM Sunrise. Free FM Sunrise.
Sunrise on 3FM.
And you were just listening to our colleague Godwin Asideba speaking with teachers and pupils risking their lives, crossing water bodies on canoes without life jackets. These young learners have no alternative but to undertake this perilous journey. Over 10,000 students displaced, losing lots of contact hours whilst their colleagues are, in class, getting an education, their books, their work materials, learning materials, teaching materials, having been washed away. Our colleague Joseph Armstrong Gold, along, we're still in studio with us, giving us an account of what he saw, the sights, sounds, feelings over the last week in the Mepe area and other areas affected by this Akosombo Dam spillage. And we're still keeping our eyes and ears on the ground. We were speaking also with Johnny. He'd moved from the Mepe area. I wasn't too sure where he was at that point, overcome with emotion. Armstrong says that's absolutely to be expected. When you go there and you see the level of devastation, you've got no choice but to feel for our brothers, sisters, aunties, uncles, grandmas, grandpas in the area who are reeling from the consequences of this dam spillage. And it is far from over, because at this point, we're talking about no casualties. Do we know if that's the case? Families have been separated. School children who would have normally been accounted for in school, they're all over the place. We won't know the extent of medical damage, for example, the consequences as concerns typhoid, cholera, malaria, any other diseases that might result from what we're seeing. We're talking about snake-infested waters, python-infested waters. You don't know what else is in the water. You have dead bodies washed into the water. The consequences of that, very dire indeed. Armstrong, will you be making an appearance there? Yes. Will you be returning to the area?
Yeah, I should. Still monitoring the situation, so we don't know when this is going to end. But hopefully, I should be going back there. But I'm seeing these school kids. They should be very fortunate. At least they still have their school intact.
They still have their school intact. But I'm sure, please hold that thought for me. I know Johnny wants to connect us with a stool elder this morning, and let's hear from them. We'll find out exactly where he is. Johnny, hello.
Hi. Helen, how are you?
I'm all right. How are you feeling now, Johnny?
Well, I have to put myself together to file this report. I've seen lands that have been washed away. I've seen people's homes collapse in the last 30 seconds. It's been most traumatizing for me, if you ask me.
My goodness, Johnny.
I have seen also a devastation that I cannot describe with my mouth. But I'm walking now to the home of the school father, and he says that he cannot leave here because he is the school father. And he will be the last person to leave it because, they are
cultural and traditional connection that they have to the stool. And so Toby will be Toby Sakiti, who is the chief of the area, and with his two father, they will be my my dictionary. Forgive me. So Toby asked him, why is he not leaving? The place is being swallowed by water, and he is not leaving. Why is he not leaving? Can you ask him that for me? Azebu Sakiti, yeah. Ask him. Why is he not leaving?
That's what he said.
What did he say?
He said it's because of my school. That's why he's not leaving.
So it's coming. But the water is coming. I've seen buildings.
Yes.
I've seen farmlands taking over.
He'll be leaving.
He is older than you. He should be fleeing for safety first of all.
He'll be leaving tonight.
Tonight?
Yes. You cannot just move the school like that.
You have to do something about it. So how is he surviving? His wife, his children here? Ask him.
Yes. There's one of the children.
Ask him for me, please. Please speak up. Okay. So they are here.
Yes. One of the children.
He's taking care of him.
Boy is here.
But he has lived there all his life. How does he feel with this present situation?
Ebe no ge hu lo agbon kaka view kan ni la jo fi ale etrole ale chobubu mo alo cho atra ni no mi tenye be se ba me ke ma to ya kana ele ge hu ko pu bi e kole ile kana ni jo de ale trole film ale sa se ma to jo se ko kama sho akacha jo ba telara ama ko be me shoko akacha mba agbodo tai to be ko bi go rana.
What is he saying?
He said for his entire life, this thing didn't happen before. So now he thinks it's time for him to move. So he's moving.
The memories that he had here, or he has here, I mean, this is his village, his sacred village. He is moving away, and all that memory will be washed away. Ask him for me.
New York view, no. Okay, jinge unde shari wa fenke miozi yo na fenke ka hozo na ajole gede ale utro la now watoto ma permit kama kito ma permit yes.
What did he say, please?
He lives his whole life here. Everything is here. So as he's moving from here, he needs a lot of help.
What kind of help? Ask him for me.
Maybe Lulu, before my dog, I'm having you know, you know, he's not having any home there. His belongings are many, his properties, and that of his children today is here. So how to move, where to go and settle is the problem.
But where are you moving them to?
Yeah, I'm moving them to my place.
Where is your place? This place is where? Abadiokoma. And then you're moving them to Alaba. Do you have enough space for them? Stop me.
They will manage. He's my school father, so I have to accommodate him with the stool.
I see. Helen, and you can hear the situation right here. I mean,
yes.
This is people's reality. The reason I broke down, you see 60-year-olds, 70-year-olds, you see children crossing to their schools on barefoot. You see people's homes destroyed, washed away, collapsed. And you ask yourself, what's happening? What's going on?
What's going on?
I have to leave it here. This is my last report from, what do you say, Toby, the place of Abadiokoma? Abadiokoma. Explain to me, what does it mean?
If you want to walk, if you want to fight, if you want to walk, come to Kuma.
Abadiokoma.
Yes.
I see.
If you want to walk, come to the island.
Our war has come to the island. We'll see you.
Johnny, thank you.
Helen,
Very
thank
grateful.
You so much.
Very grateful. And that was Johnny Hughes. He's touring the areas affected by the dam spillage. Time check, it is some 19 minutes to the top of the hour, 10 a.m. This is still 3FM Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Gentlemen, as we wrap up on this conversation and make way for the voice of the people so we can hear from our callers, Armstrong, I'll give you some time to give us your final words on all of this.
So I was saying earlier that these peoples we're seeing are very fortunate because at least they have a place to still school. They just have to cross the spill water to get to their schools. But a place in Mepe, to be precise, all the schools there, including the SHS, the senior high schools, they've all been submerged. So every single school there has been closed down for the time being. So all these people are just walking around whilst the other colleagues are in classrooms learning, and they're going to write the same exams, and it's so unfortunate on their part. As it stands right now, these ones, I don't know where they school, but if possible, maybe all the schools along that stretch should be on hold for the time being, because for you to risk the life of these people, maybe this one is a daily activities they do every day, because
in fact I'll tell you where they are. So they and apologies in advance, I'll try and pronounce this as best as possible. So these students we were listening to Godwin speak with, and if you're watching us on Facebook, you would have seen the clip. They're crossing from Mafi Dopo to Mafi Devime.
Muffin Dopo to Muffin
Devime. That's where they are going.
Okay. So with them, they have this Volta river there. So many of them still would have to cross the river to the other side, even on a normal day, without the spill water. So maybe that is something they do on daily basis. And of course, you can see they are not in life jackets.
No life jackets.
That is how they live their life over there. And this is another conversation that after the spillage we would have to look at, because
Definitely.
you have these people, many of them cannot swim, and especially the females among them. Because if a lady goes into the Volta River, she'll be fined. Reason being that she's a lady and she has gotten to that stage in her life where she's not pure or clean to swim in the river. So when you are seen, you'll be dealt with. So they don't even try. So if they fall in the water, they don't know how to swim.
And there's no
to rescue their life.
Life jacket to help you.
Yeah, so going forward, maybe we want to provide life jackets for the females.
That's right.
Since they are not being allowed to go and learn how to swim in the distance. So these and many other issues, like the mortuary at Komboni right now has been totally submerged now. The bodies there, the last time we were there, we saw family members coming to rush their relatives who have passed on to different mortuaries to preserve them. So the situation now, we just have to keep our eye on this. As Sir William said, we can maybe ensure that the Navy stay on after the spillage to ensure that we don't record any casualties, as people are priding themselves that so far
I think
no casualties
that's important. If we can send our military out to do humanitarian work, they've been in Sierra Leone and other places. Surely they can do same for us. Armstrong, very grateful for your time this morning, and good job being our eyes and ears on the ground along with our other colleagues. I want to say good job to Godwin Asedeba, who's also been on the ground. I don't think he's returned yet. He's still very much on the ground. I've seen him climbing all sorts of structures on a rooftop. He's been in the canoes, up, down, sideways. Godwin, God bless you. Johnny Hughes, Sixtus Don Ulo, also on the field, and they're there with some other colleagues, and I acknowledge their hard work this morning. Our telephone lines, 0559 242 717. I see phone lines already blinking. Hello, good morning.
Hello, Kaula.
Good morning.
Good morning. If the Johnny, he would say the so. So
You're on air.
From Kasua, yes. You see, the least talk about this president is the better. I am telling you, because if you look at what other UN, if you look at UN and then other allied Western, even the neighboring, just look at the Palestine, what happened? They have been able to provide the tent. When the emergency came, they provided the tent for them. They are people to stay. So what is the NADMO doing? NADMO is just a useless entity, taking our taxpayer money for nothing. What are we talking about? You cannot put that tent for emergency. What is the useless? So the president went there for what? Vote out for what? Okay. Look, and I'm saying, you went there. Bring the relief attempt to them. They need relief attempt. They're talking. Oh, may God forgive us. This man is just a very naive president. Thank you.
Thank you for your call this morning. Hello, who am I speaking with, please?
Yeah, good morning. Thank you very much. Robert speaking from Teshi.
Uncle Robert, your name?
My sister, you know what is happening in Volta region? It's a very pathetic and so sad news. It has put me in a mood of melancholy. I think that we need not to analyze what is happening in Volta region at the political point of view. This is a national issue. And let me congratulate NADMO, TV3, and other media houses that actually, brought justice, let me say justice, to certain issues that might have actually elevated or aggravated the situation. Time will not permit me to talk about the concomitant effects, the adverse effects, the injurious effects, and the public health hazard, because most people actually talk of how people have been walking on, toilets, how human skeleton is floating over, snake, other parts in the water that is giving injurious effects to many people. So I don't have time. But the economic effect, Volta Lake has employed a whole lot of people. There are a lot of fish farming, irrigation that employ many of our youth over there. This particular, flood has taken over everything. Now, most of our people are now taken out of jobs. I don't know what they're going to leave. But most of them suggested that if government can actually allow them to come and occupy settlement houses for a short possible time, because as we speak, we don't know the time that the water level will even come down or the area will even dry. Now, when the area is dry, there should be a cleanup, there should be a fumigation, because people cannot just go and live in those kind of unhygienic environments. I think that presidents are supposed to listen to them and move them quickly to settlement house. There is something that I want to talk about.
And Uncle Roberts, please round up for me. We've got a lot of callers waiting, please.
Okay. That was the statement that the president made. But, Monkey said that he has not actually reproached the one who succeeded in killing him, but the one who markets his meat at the market square. If, you can, reach out to Metro TV, tell this guy, Poladum Austri, that we are tired of the kind of insult that we, the people of Volta region, normally receive from there. He did that to somebody up there, and he's doing it to us again. Some of us are not equal. I don't know the kind of school that he has attended.
Uncle Roberts, thank you so much for that. We'll take our next caller. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Madam. How are you?
Kosami, I'm doing really well. You're on air.
God bless you. My coffee. It's unfortunate. First of all, let me commend the men of God who came out boldly to let us know clearly what is going on. On the building of this cathedral, where our money are the bank, where Nadimo are in need of, relief supply. They don't have it. Buffer stock company is empty. They should have supplied the Nadimo to be able to do something. But the reason why they set up the buffer food stock company. And all of them are suffering. We spend a lot of money in this hole, the most expensive hole in the world. And look at the suffering we are going through. And the president going to, go to again empty-handed. What does it mean? You go there as a president, you have gone there with some, don't leave us there to support the people. You don't go there and say something and creating problems for the people again. So you, 3FM, are always, in connection with Metro, that they give you, the weather updates. So the Volta River, how were they collaborating with the Metro? So, for them to have, information on the weather situation in the country. Why they shut down for all these things to happen? And I thank you, Media General and other organizations that have put your heads together to make sure.
Kosami, round up for me, please.
In the area for us. Have a blessed morning.
Have a blessed morning, Kosami. Hello, good morning. Who's speaking? Where are you calling us from?
Oh, LM, this is Opia.
Opia, good to hear your voice this morning. You're on air.
Oh, I've been sad 6 Fridays due to this spirit because I knew how disaster this would be. But have they reported any casualties for now? I have not heard. Probably you may have heard. What it is that this is an engineering failure. And I don't know if engineering and civil engineer association has come out because VRA is an entity full of technocrats. Are they saying that they did not know how this disaster will affect the whole community? It's scary. We have a university in this country, a lot of universities. To the time we have a what is called Kwame Nkrumah Technology University or what. And we call ourselves the first independent country. And this happened, we are a failure. Not on MPP, the whole country.
Thank you for your call. Good morning. Hello, good morning. Who's speaking, please?
Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, Pastor Dewale. Good morning to you. Hope you're well.
Oh, thank you very much. In fact, I'm in prayer with your team.
Thank you.
And outside the studio, and Brother Johnny, his big heart. But the problem of this country, you always say you are greater than Accra. I think the that want to submerge you, but let the Lord bring you up like Peter, who was getting drowned. My sister.
Amen.
So far, north and central, for the southeast, west. That is the Agave area. Towards Batoli. No, towards Aflau Road. Already they have this problem that anytime it rains, their community become unmovable. And look at the flood issue. And I'm told from 2 or 3 people that no government official have yet paid them a visit. And most of their buildings are this mud patch and it's just falling apart. And they are so displayed. But I'm so grateful to you. So you've given us every step along the way. And I'm also calling on corporate body, churches, individuals. Let's all contribute to the fund, to the foundation, so that we rescue this life. Look at already 10 pupils or students have been displayed. Look at the adults, etc. Even some are not willing to leave their community. It can happen to anybody. After the Tetegu one, I was a witness last year because most of my church people were affected. I was with them for 3 days. Even that one, which is nothing equated to this, was, in fact, my sister, life and property got lost. And up to date, people have not yet recovered from it. So it's a national call. If the politicians or the government of the day is not paying attention, let's work and work for Mother Ghana and work for this life because we are more than these political appointees or these political parties.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Pastor Dewale. I'll take my last caller for the morning and we'll wrap it up on the Voice of the People segment. Hello, good morning. Who's speaking? Where are you calling us from?
Here is King from Adenta.
King from Adenta, you're on air.
Yeah, madam. Madam, you see, this government, you don't like veterans, you know.
King, I don't know if you can say that. I can't allow that sort of comment this morning. We're focusing on the issues at hand and we're not going along any tribalistic lines. That is an emphatic statement I can't allow on air. The problems that the people in the Volta region and other places are facing, it is dire. It goes beyond tribalistic sentiments, and I want us to focus on the issue at hand. Our brothers and sisters, mums, dads, aunties, uncles, nieces and nephews, they need all our support at this time, and that is where the focus is.
3 FM Sunrise.
Sunrise on 3 FM.
Well, we talk about water all the time. In fact, life without water is impossible. But what do you really know about the water you consume? With Verna Purified Water, you're not only guaranteed the pleasure of satisfying your thirst, but you're also assured of water that is purified using a series of filtration, reverse osmosis, UV sterilization, and ozonation to meet the standard quality your body needs. Now, with over 100,000 bottles consumed every single day, Verna Purified Water has gained acceptance as the #1 water brand in Ghana today. Now, with every bottle of Verna water you consume, you directly contribute